Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin has been released for over a year now, but many mysteries still lie within the destroyed Pizzaplex. There's the mystery of the Mimic, the Blob, and the whereabouts of Gregory, but one mystery that still hasn't been solved by the community is Burntrap in Fnaf Ruin. It hasn't been solved yet where Burntrap is in Ruin, and if he's even alive after the events of Fnaf security breach. So in this video, I'm going to solve why Burntrap is alive in Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin and where he is in the Pizzaplex. And most importantly, I'm going to answer these questions using crucial evidence from the scene code that seems to have been overlooked by the community, so let's solve what happened to Burntrap in Ruin. But first, I think it should be clear that the Burntrap ending from Five Nights at Freddy's security breach is not canon. In Ruin, we learned that the Princess Quest ending was actually canon and not the Burntrap ending. We know this because of various reasons, like the fact that Cassie is using the same Vanny mask that Vanessa left behind. Freddy is missing his head and has a hole in his chest like we saw in the ending, and one of the arcade machines even has a golden sword through it, meaning the glitch shot virus was defeated like we saw in the Princess Quest minigames. And throughout Ruin, comic book style drawings can be found of each of Security Breach's endings, and to me this was the franchise's way of saying they're not canon to the timeline anymore. This included the Burntrap ending, which was more confirmation that this ending isn't canon. But when walking down to the abandoned pizzeria, the Blob can be seen through the hole of a wall before retracting itself. Meaning that not only does this character exist after all, even though their ending wasn't canon, but Burntrap must also exist since it wouldn't make sense for one to exist without the other. So this also means that Burntrap must be somewhere in the Pizzaplex when Ruin takes place, but where? Well, let's start to go over the crucial piece of evidence that I haven't seen anyone else in the community talk about, which are the caves. Once you make it to the scene core, you go through different caves until you find the Mimic, and you have to escape him by once more going through a cave. But one section of these caves is the key to solving Burntrap and other mysteries from the Pizzaplex, and of course I'm talking about the cave with the waterfall, the blue water, the blue mushrooms, and the blue rocks. Now at the surface it may just seem like a normal cave, but it's so much more than that. I think this cave is what powers the Pizzaplex and everything inside of it. Let me explain. I believe that the blue water we see in this cave is the same water or liquid that we see in the charging stations. They're both light blue, and when going near the water and the liquid from the charging station we hear static, meaning they're electrically charged. And we know the liquid in the charging station powered the animatronics and even gave them life. In the Chica segment in Ruin, we see Chica fall into a broken charging station and she is revived by it, as previously she was destroyed completely and couldn't move. But after she came into contact with the liquid, she became alive once more and was something Cassie needed to run away from. So we can assume if an animatronic came into contact with the water in the cave, something similar would happen, as they would be receiving an extreme amount of power. And we see this exact thing happen with Cassie's flashlight as she enters the cave. The minute she gets near the water, her flashlight overcharges and shuts off. Originally, it was believed that her flashlight ran out of battery, but couldn't Cassie just say that? Instead, she gets frustrated that the flashlight randomly turns off, and again, I think it was because of the electrically charged water. So if we can assume Fazbear's Entertainment used this water to power the charging stations and even the machines used to recharge your flashlight, then we can also assume that they would harvest as much of this energy for the rest of the Pizzaplex. And I think the other caves already prove this. All of the caves inside the scene core have the same design and details like these rocks. But the major difference between this cave and the other caves is that these rocks in the caves are missing the blue luminescent light and they're simply missing the blue water, insinuating that Fazbear's Entertainment has already extracted the water and power source from these caves to power the Pizzaplex, except for this one small cave that still has the blue water. But finally, how does this cave connect to Burntrap and his whereabouts? Well, in one of my last videos, I went over how Burntrap needs a charging station to survive, as in the Burntrap ending, that's where his body was being kept alive, and without it, he seems weak and fragile as he can barely walk. And in that same video, I pointed out the fact that Burntrap left this room and his charging station through this vent. We know this because of the purple glow to it, as he was leaving a trail behind, and it's assumed wherever we find this purple glow, that's where Burntrap has been. So I think that he left this room to try and find another charging station so he can keep himself alive. As there's the charging station that was in the room where Gregory and Freddy first found Burntrap, or the charging station found in the Fnaf 6 pizzeria. But we can assume that those charging stations have been destroyed after the damage done to the Pizzaplex, and in Help Wanted 2 we even see this charging station completely destroyed. So where else would Burntrap go to save himself? Well, he would have to go to the only power source left, this cave. Now I know that might seem far-stretched and random, but realistically this is the only form of energy left in the Pizzaplex that would save Burntrap, and there's one piece of evidence evidence that proves this. Remember that purple glow trail that Burntrap left behind when he left his room through the vent? Well, in that video, I stated that we only saw this purple glow in this vent and nowhere else in the Pizzaplex, meaning Burntrap wasn't in any of the areas where ruin takes place, as again, wherever we see this purple glow, that's where Burntrap has been. But this is actually wrong, as we see this purple glow effect in only one other area in the entire game, and that's in the cave. At the very top of the cave, we see this small area that also has the same purple glow effect from the vent that is only found in these two areas, insinuating that Burntrap was there. We also find these interesting textures on this rock, and maybe they were left there by Burntrap. Now, it's not clear if Burntrap actually made his way to the top of the cave or if he was just in the cave in general, but this purple trail has to confirm that Burntrap was in that cave at one point, and he most likely visited the cave after leaving through the vent. But this also means that Burntrap is still somewhere in the Pizzaplex or in the sinkhole, but it's not clear where specifically he is, as we don't see this purple trail anywhere else in the game. But the fact that it's in this cave means it's important to his whereabouts, and again, at one point he was in this cave. This also means he came into contact with the electrically charged water, which we can assume would have a similar effect as the charging station, so maybe this blue water would save him and give him life like it did for Chica. But because there's so much water and because this energy would be massive, we can only imagine what effect it would have on Burntrap, and it could possibly even make him stronger. And although the next game in the franchise is going to be Fnaf Secret of the Mimic, which is an origin game for the Mimic, meaning it won't be the next game in the timeline, I still think the game after Secret of the Mimic will revisit the sinkhole and the Pizzaplex, as there's still so much left to be said, like the character of Burntrap. I've already made plenty of videos covering what this game will look like, but no matter what this gameplay looks like, I think it's safe to say that Burntrap will be a part of it in some way, and this cave is our first look at that. So because the water from this cave is actually a power source that powers the Pizzaplex like the charging stations, it makes the most sense that Burntrap would want to reach this cave, as he needs the same water or liquid from the charging stations to keep him alive, which again are found in this cave. And we know he's successful in reaching this cave, as we see a purple trail left by him at the very top of the cave. So though we don't know where he went after this cave, what we do know for certain is that he was in this cave at one point. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video on Burntrap and why I think he was in this cave. Remember, this is just a theory and nothing is confirmed, so what do you guys think? Where is Burntrap in Fnaf Ruin, and do these caves have anything to do with his whereabouts? So make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you guys so much for watching.